Lasagna and pizza, which one's the best food in the world?
Oh, see, I'm a burger gal.
Oh, okay. Third
Sorry, third
coming
option.
in.
But out of lasagna and pizza, I would choose pizza.
Okay. Pizza and burger?
Yeah, pizza and burgers. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. And lucky that you can still get all of those gluten free.
Oh, yeah. Don't we love that?
Yeah.
Hi, Kate.
Hi, Dominic.
How's the Puma sponsorship?
Look, it's coming along. I figure if I just keep wearing all of their gear, then yeah, I'll they'll eventually sponsor me. No, I just realized I was wearing all of this because I'm doing an exercise these
Ooh.
days. Like you do an exercise each day, and apparently it helps you to become health.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how it works? That's something I read on the internet. So I have been doing an exercise, and I've got an exercise after our session today. So I usually wear a hat so that my hair doesn't go in my eyeballs. I usually wear a vest because it's cold in Melbourne, and a hoodwa so that I can hide my muscles until they're ready to be revealed.
Shown.
Yeah.
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 And I love that you're carb loading with your lasagna.
I
Like it's
am. I'm carb loading with lasagna, so it's going to be a treat when I go running. I'm sure that won't be a problem at all.
no, it's
But
good for you.
also why I'm having food at 5:30 p.m.
Ah, that makes sense. Well,
Mhm.
Kate's being responsible, folks. I'm sitting here with a giant glass of red wine, and yeah, that's my new normal now.
I wish I could be doing that. I will do that this weekend.
I am trying to quit vaping. I'm on day 4. So, of course, my drinking has gone up. So, it's like, oh,
One thing at a time.
I can't win. No,
You
because my
can't.
drinking was at a good level, and now I'm just switching it for another bad thing. It's like, for fuck's sake, folks, give me one thing.
Yeah, yeah. I just need one thing. Although I think, yeah, I'm. That's good for you. That is good for you.
It's good for you. I love that for
Hey, good
you.
for you. I love that for you, Dom. Good on ya, you bloody ripper.
Oh, well, before we get into our usual standard programming, I also wanted to share the very funny news. If I sound different or if I'm talking different, my jaw is slightly lockjawed and not for the fun reason.
I was like, no, I want to hear the story.
I had to have emergency root canal
Oh my God.
work done yesterday. And I feel like karma's coming back to bite me for making fun of Christopher in that episode
Yes, of dentists.
because, yeah, it was not fun. It's still not fun. I've still got to go back for like 2 or 3 more sessions to fix this tooth.
Oh,
But I will say this just to clarify, my teeth are in impeccable condition,
perfect.
except this one tooth. And the reason why this tooth is not good is because the dentist that I saw for like 10, 15 years, that my family and everyone forced me to go see, even when I didn't want to go see them, he fucked up. He fucked up royally. And I called him on it. And as a result, one of my teeth is completely fucked. And
Oh
to the
my
point where
God.
he had to pay because it's irreparable damage. But it's this fucking tooth that has now fucked up yet again, and it all comes back to it being totally mishandled, mistreated, misdone, everything. But the tooth
Wow.
is borderline dead. It's not dead. It's fine. I'm being dramatic here,
It's
but
borderline. It's 1 foot in the grave. It's
yeah,
a 35-year-old after a night of drinking.
exactly.
That's where it's at.
It's 90 years old
Oh,
while it's surrounded by teeth that are
yeah.
fine. But
Yeah.
anyway, I'm pissed off. I'm angry about it. And this is why I said I'd burn down your fucking dental place if you fuck with my
Yes.
teeth. And look what happened.
Wow. Okay. So if I hear on the news any dentists in Oakley that have set on fire,
Yeah, some arsenary. But
hmm
anyway, I'm okay, folks. I'm apologizing yet again. But this is our goddamn podcast. We can say what we like and
yeah,
don't fuck with my teeth.
and we can say it the way that we want to say it, which is with a locked jaw today. So,
Yeah.
and I'm also just finishing off my lasagna, so you get to cop me with a mouthful of food. You get to cop Dom with a mouth that doesn't open properly.
Yeah.
It's just all happening.
Mm. Anyway, we're 5 minutes in. Let's do some real quick whip around. Keeping
housekeeping.
Thanks, Kate.
No
Okay.
worries.
Real quick, folks, please go check out all our socials. TikTok, Instagram are our favorite, shitten.bricks.podcast. If you'd like to talk to us, email us at shitten.bricks.podcast@gmail.com. While you're at it, please go check out our Patreon and give us, even just a little coffee money, whatever it is that you can spare, helps us a really long way. And you get free content, bonus content every week now.
Yep. Every week. We've worked it out, guys. We have figured it out.
Kate did it last week with some extra tidbits at the end, which if you're not a Patreon, you're missing out. And it was some funny shit.
There's some funny shit in there. There's some handy. It's always about learning. You'll learn something. Even if you didn't want to learn about that topic, you will. It's really fun.
And I've got the exact same today. So go become a Patreon. It costs you nothing and it's lots of fun.
Well, it does cost you something.
Well, it does, yes.
But emotionally, it doesn't cost you anything. Financially, a little bit. But that's okay. It's a tiny bit. It doesn't cost you anything aside from what it costs. But otherwise, it doesn't cost you a thing. Okay?
Misleading. Okay.
We have to have the fine print.
All right, but just fine. Pull
just
a
do
tooth.
it.
Why not?
Yeah,
okay?
pull a tooth.
And last but not least, this week's BooPod Network feature podcast is the one, the only, Stephen from Haunted UK podcast, which, come on, Kate.
Yeah, too good. Too flipping good. Hey, yeah. Stephen. Love you.
Or Steve? Stephen? Steve?
Steve!
Steve!
Stephen!
I should check that out because I'm so used to looking at our contact sheet for BooPod Network and it's like, it's all very formal.
It is all very formal.
It looks like a certain thing, but then it's like, yeah, Steve, which is no Stephen.
Steve! Stephen!
Steve, here is your Haunted UK podcast. Boopity boop boop.
The name Stephen reminds me of one of my family's most favorite Instagram, TikTok, social media videos. And it's when a woman comes outside and there's a white horse lying on the ground. And she goes, Stephen! And then Stephen picks his head up and she goes, I thought you were dead. That's it. Watch that. It's pretty good. Stephen the horse.
Stephen the horse is really good. There is also the animals that talk.
Yes.
And there's the badger or something that's like
Steve. Yeah, I think it's like a
chipmunk or
prairie dog.
Prairie dog.
Mm.
That just reminds me of Austin Powers and prairie dogging. But
yep. And then that reminds me of Goldfinger. Oh man, that's so much happening.
But love this, Kate, because as we talk about prairie dogs,
yes,
we are on today's topic. Boop, boop, boop.
I haven't even looked at today's topic, so I'm going to be as shocked as our listeners.
Okay, today's topic is inspired by one of my good Judies, Jordan, the one that got recently engaged in the Philippines.
Congratulations, Jordan. Is this Sergeant's Tipsters
fame? Sergeant's Tipsters fame.
Guys, we're talking about a celeb in the footy tipping world.
Scum of the footy tipping world. More like it. But we went away for the weekend recently and we were talking about fears. So today's episode, the theme is Night of 1,000 Mice.
Oh, I don't like the idea of that. Unless mice is a cocktail. And no, it's not. Okay, it's not like a boutique nose candy that we can.
Yeah, just put a bit of bread and wine up your nose, and you'll be right as rain.
Just singe some orange peel, and you'll be ace.
No, this fear or phobia, I should say, is totally based off of Jordan Sargent's biggest phobia. And
oh my God,
why we haven't done it? The last time we did anything close to this was our Creepy Crawlies episode. If you remember, Kate, with all the photos. Don't worry, I won't be showing you photos.
Good.
live.
Oh, cool. But they'll
But
be on our socials.
yeah, but
Yeah.
today I'm going to go through the fear of mice and rats and everything mice rat related.
I am here for it. Do you know, just on rats, I have background shows that I put on when I'm eating or doing things I don't need to concentrate on. And MASH is my current background show. And there's an episode right now where there's a fever running through the place, and they're like, "Yeah, Chris, we think that there's bloody rats are doing it. The rat poison things. We got to kill them."
Well, let's get into. I
Yeah.
mean, this does not scare me even in the slightest, but I'm sure there's someone listening right now that's like, "Oh my god, you're going to
Yeah,
talk about
they're
mice."
not into. I never understood the squealing with mice
Yeah.
thing.
Well,
I'm not a mice squealer.
here we go. Let's unpack it, shall we?
Unpack.
Okay, fear of mice and rats is one of the most common specific phobias. I'm hitting all the big ones, Kate.
You are. Why would
Like,
you even pretend like you're not? Because you are. You're doing a
yeah,
great job.
dentophobia. At this rate, fuck the tooth. I'm going to see a mice in my apartment.
Fuck the tooth. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. Yeah.
It is sometimes referred to as musophobia.
Musophobia.
Musophobia or murophobia. Really can't quite delineate the taxonomic adjective murine,
Okay.
which is the family of Muridae, which encompasses mice and rats, and
Okay.
it's Latin for mouse rat. So
Yep. Mouse rat.
there you go.
Love it.
So muso or murophobia. It's also seen as suriophobia. Anyway, it's all different.
I like musophobia, although
Yeah.
not a fear of moose.
No, love moose.
Mm.
Or museophobia, which is music.
Yeah.
So
Oh, damn. Okay, don't get those two mixed up.
no. So yeah, one's
Sorry.
great.
Yeah, one's great. It's like you come in and you put on some music, and they're like, "Guys, it's fine. I got rid of my pet rat." And then you put some music on, and everyone starts freaking out. No, museophobia, not musophobia. No.
The world implodes.
Yeah.
Now, the phobia as an unreasonable and disproportionate fear is distinct from reasonable concern about rats and mice contaminating food supplies, which may potentially be universal to all times, places, and cultures where there's stored grain and food, which obviously attracts rodents.
Yes.
And if we then consume it, it's contaminated, it's not good for our bodies, blah, blah, blah. That's reasonable. This is a disproportionate fear beyond something like that.
Yeah.
So in many cases, a phobic fear of mice is a socially induced condition response. Really good example of this. And arachnophobia is another example of this.
I have that.
Combined with and originated in the startle response. Okay?
Yes.
Into the psychology of it all. And I think this is where people really understand why things maybe like spiders or mice or things like that. There is what's called the startle response, and that is a totally natural response to an unexpected stimulus.
Okay.
Okay, so when you get a really big fat bill from the tax place,
yes, or the dentistry office,
or the dentistry, fucking off! I can't.
It's triggering you. I'm so sorry.
The poor lady at reception was just like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, what do you think? I just dropped $1,500 on a fucking mistake someone else made. See you in 2 weeks.
See ya. See you soon, Janet. Have a bloody nice night.
I think her name is Janet too.
Oh, is it? Oh, bless. Hi, Janet. Shout out. All right. So that's when you are, because I get this a lot. I'm walking from my car to my back door, and I have one spider whose name's Bernard. Now, Bernard is a golden orb spider. He's a garden spider, so he's okay. We like him because he catches the mosquitoes and the flies. Flies. And he looks after my garden. He's fine. Now, he knows that when I come through my garage, like, he needs to just chill. He can't be moving around, because then I'll be like, which I assume that's the startle response. Yeah, so I get that a lot, but Bernard and I have had a conversation. So we're okay. He still exists. If I catch, do you know what? That I'll try and catch a picture of Bernard so we can put it on our socials at some stage. But I'm just, are likening that to that startle
Yeah,
response.
very much so. So
Okay.
it's really important. It's very common. Like a startle response is very common in most animals, not just humans, right? If you
Yes.
scare a red panda, there's that amazing meme on that red panda. You
Yes.
scare it. It's
Or
totally
those
natural.
goats. What about the goats that just flip up on their backs and their legs up?
Fainting goats. Like startle response is perfectly natural and normal. It's
Yeah.
really important that we understand that.
Yeah.
But that is not a real disorder. So at the same time, as is common with specific phobias, an occasional fright may give rise to an abnormal anxiety. And that's
Okay.
when it may, that's where it escalates from startle response into a full-blown anxiety. And then that might require treatment and things
Yep.
like that. So
Okay.
it's just good for people to understand that progression, that continuum.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, moving on. A mouse. A mouse is a small rodent. We've talked about a lot of different rodents already in
We
this
have.
episode.
Yeah.
Characteristically, mice are known to have a pointed snout, small, rounded, cute ears, a body length, scaly tail. So the length of their tail is also the length of their body.
Ooh.
And they
Is
have
that the same as like, from your elbow to your wrist is the
should be
size of
your
your
foot size.
dingaling? Oh, your foot
Oh,
size. Yeah, that's right. Wait,
if
hang on.
my Jesus, Catherine. I mean, on a good day, maybe.
Who have I been hanging out with, more importantly, where that's been the measure? Or have I just been disappointed my whole life for that reason? Where I'm standing there like, nah, sorry, mate.
There's a lot of our
Not for
listeners
me.
just all
Foot. Sorry, foot.
foot.
Got
Yes.
you. Thank you.
Which
There's
also
a
gives
wiener
you
one, surely.
there is a wiener one, which
Okay.
is size of your feet, which again.
Oh, wait, what?
Just if you've got big feet, you're meant to have a big
Oh,
willy.
okay. So if you do have a big distance from your elbow to your wrist, okay, forget it. Do you know what?
Knows?
Also, who gives a shit?
And speaking of, mice have high breeding rates.
They do.
Yes. So the best known mouse species is the common house mouse.
House mouse.
Mus musculus in Latin.
Mus musculus.
Yep.
Mus musculus.
Now, mice are also popular as pets, and in some places, certain kinds of field mice are locally common. So in Australia, we know a lot about this.
Oh, we have mice everywhere.
Yeah, they are known to invade homes for food and shelter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mice are typically distinguished from rats by their size. Generally, when a muroid rodent is discovered, it's a mouse or of the family of mouse. Its common name includes the term mouse if it is smaller or rat if it is larger.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Do you know, now that you're saying all of these things, the sheer amount of mice and rat stories that are popping into my head, there's a lot of them. Personal stories. I'm going to just jot them down. If we've got time at the end, I'll share.
Well, let's do it. Oh, let's put it in our special Reckoning episode, which you can only listen to if you become a
That
Patreon.
is a great idea. We're doing that. All right, I have 4. I've got 4 already. There's probably going to be more. So you better sign up to Patreon right now so you can listen.
Now, domestic mice sold as pets often differ substantially in size from the common house mouse. This is attributable to breeding and different conditions in the wild. The best known strain of mouse is the white lab mouse. Obviously, it's white in color. It has more uniform traits that are appropriate to its use in research, which we will get into in a second. Cats, wild dogs, foxes, birds of prey, snakes, and even certain kinds of arthropods, your favorite, Kate, have been known to prey heavily upon mice. Despite this, mice populations remain plentiful because they have a high breeding rate due to its remarkable adaptability to almost any environment. The mouse is one of the most successful mammalian genera living on Earth today. So props to mice. They're pretty fucking cool.
They are pretty cool. But yeah.
Now, in certain contexts, mice can be considered vermin.
Yes.
What a great word.
You're vermin.
I also refer to dentists as vermin.
Yeah.
Okay. Woo-sa.
I'm okay.
Now, vermin are a major source of crop damage. If you're in Australia, we know all about that, as they are known to cause structural damage and spread disease. Mice spread disease through their feces and are often carriers of parasites. In North America, breathing dust that has come in contact with mouse excrement has been linked to hantavirus, which may lead to hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, HPS. Primarily nocturnal animals, mice compensate for their poor eyesight with a keen sense of hearing. Oh, Mouskowitz.
Oh,
American
no.
tail. Somewhere
Out
out
there,
there,
beneath the
the
pale moonlight. Take it away, Chels.
Chelsea and Jess are living right now.
Ah,
That's American Tail, by the way.
yes, about a Jewish mouse. It's so flippin' good.
And I was going to do my pop culture reference as Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade. And
I mean, that's a
rat,
good one.
That's a good one. But how did I not do American Tail? I'll have to go
Oh,
back and add
oh my
that.
God. I want to watch American Tail again now because I haven't seen it in so long.
So good.
Fievel.
Fievel.
Mm.
So they depend on their sense of smell to locate
Yeah.
food and avoid predators. So they've got hearing and they've got smell. In the wild, mice are known to build intricate burrows, and these burrows have a long entrance and are equipped with escape tunnels. Escape!
Escape! Do you know what's funny that you say this? I've never imagined up until this point. I mean, obviously, I know that mice need to live somewhere, but I never, if you had have asked me 45 seconds ago, where do mice live? I would have just been like, under houses, in cupboards, in roofs, in wall cavities. And I'm sure they do live there. But if they are not in a house in someone's home, I never thought about where they would live. And they're living in little burrows, little intricate systems of tunnels and whatnot. Oh, there you go.
What's really interesting on this is that in at least one species of mice, the architectural design of a burrow, they've been able to measure this. There is a genetic trait passed on by lineages of mice where they build their burrows in the same architectural design. Like they pass that on genetically. How fucking cool is that?
Oh my God. Mice are smart.
Yeah.
It's weird. So the scientists are just like, oh, this is definitely a Watson burrow. You can tell this is a Watson burrow. Oh, and that's definitely a Johnson burrow, as you can see. Wow. But also imagine stumbling upon that and discovering that as a scientist.
Mm-hmm.
That's
cool.
wild.
You've got to give him credit.
You do. You have to.
Now, diet. What do mice eat?
Tell me.
Okay. Now, in nature, mice are largely herbivores, consuming any kind of fruit or grain from plants. However, mice adapt well to urban areas and are known for eating almost all types of food scraps. In captivity, mice are commonly fed commercial pelleted mouse diet. So it's a little pellety shits.
Yeah.
These diets are nutritionally complete, but they still need a large variety of vegetables. Now, despite popular belief, most mice do not have a special appetite for cheese.
I was going to ask about cheese. I'm glad you went there.
Yeah, they will only eat cheese for lack of a better option.
Wow.
So it's not like they're against it. It's just, it's not a naturally occurring type thing.
Do you know who we can...
another food scrap.
Yeah, we can blame... Do you know who we can blame for this? Walt Disney.
Feifel.
Oh, not Feifel. He's allowed to have cheese if he wants.
Sure.
Little Feifel Mouskowitz. He can do whatever.
Mouse.
Mickey Mouse. And Walt Disney.
Yeah, Walt Disney. Well, Walt Disney's fucking psycho anyway.
Golly. But that's, I kind of feel like I knew that, but at the same time, they will take something else.
Yeah. Now, humans, how do we interact with mice?
Rarely.
Well, as experimental animals, let's just...
Okay.
Before we start hating on mice, let's just chalk up the scoreboard on who mistreats whom in this relationship, shall we?
Yep, I think I'll put a little pros cons column together right now.
Now, mice are common experimental animals in laboratory research of biology and psychology fields, primarily because they are mammals. and also because they share a high degree of homology with humans.
Hmm.
Do you want to have a guess of what homology is?
Um,
Homology?
Hormonous. um, yeah, our DNA. No, I don't know.
No. So
What is
in
it?
biology, homology is
I
similarity
failed
due to.
biology.
Yeah, I love biology. It was one of the only ones I was good at.
Oh, I failed real bad. I
That's
could never
okay.
get my head around the hypothesis. I was like, I don't, you're trying to tell me what I'm just about to do. Can I just do it and then do it afterwards? No, no, no. You're going to do a hypothesis before you go into. I was like, I've had enough. I'm going to go back to the drama room. Goodbye.
All right. Well, I got you covered, Kate.
Thank you.
In biology, homology is similarity due to shared ancestry between a pair of structures or genes. So, a common example of homologous structures is the forelimbs of vertebrates. So, where the wings of bats and birds or the arms of primates.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Because what I thought when you initially said that was at some point in history, a human and a mouse got
fucked.
together.
Not quite.
Okay. Just checking.
Yeah.
Oh.
Kate's just picturing someone
I'm
fucking
trying to
Minnie
figure
Mouse.
out. I'm like, how does it work?
You better not have a dick the size of your forearm because that sure as hell ain't gonna work. Poor mouse. Okay, let's leave
Okay.
Kate there to go through that,
I'm just,
folks, and we're just
yeah.
going to continue
All
on.
right. I'm focused now. I'm good.
Now, they they are the most commonly used mammalian model organism. They're even more common than rats. So we use mice more than any other species in the world
Uh-huh.
to do all of our medical
To do
research.
sorry, another thought.
No.
No, about animal testing and how whenever I was a kid, I'd look at the stuff and it's like it's not tested on animals. So you get like a lipstick and you assume it's them. They put it on their little lips.
That is so mean.
I know it's awful, but I think of it's funny if they have their tiny little mouse lips and they got lipstick on them, and
Nice
that's
red
how they
lips.
tested them.
Yeah.
Not where they pumped them full of chemicals and killed a whole bunch of them in a really cruel and inhumane way. But if you imagine them with little lipstick on their little lips, that's what I thought was funny.
Totally fair. It is. Now, you may not realize this, but the mouse genome has been fully sequenced, and virtually all mouse genes have human homologs. So, like how we're very, similarly related to things like pigs and primates and stuff like that, we're also,
Yep,
there's a connection to mice.
that's so cool.
So, when you see a mouse, you're not too far away. That's a distant cousin.
A distant relative.
Now, the mouse has approximately 2.7 billion base pairs and 20 pairs of chromosomes. They can also be manipulated in ways that are illegal with humans. So, the whole
Oh,
joke about growing a human ear on the back of a mouse or a rat, that's actually based in science.
yeah. Far
Yeah.
out.
Now, that's obviously illegal, and animal rights and activists and everything, we don't, it's a no-no.
Yeah.
Now, a knockout mouse is a genetically modified mouse that has had one or more of its genes made inoperable through a gene knockout. So that's another thing. If you're interested, you can actually do that with mouse.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know where to begin.
Yeah. Now, reasons for common selection of mice are that they are small and inexpensive and have widely varied diet and easily maintained and can reproduce quickly. So you think about it. Think of all the animals in the world that we could potentially test on for things that are going to be affected to humans. It obviously needs to be a homolog of us, or it needs to have similar homology. It needs to be cheap, small, fuck fast,
Yep.
reproduce fast, all those sorts of things. Like,
yeah.
there really isn't any other species out there that fits the
That
bill
can
as well
fit the
as
bill.
mice.
Yeah.
As horrible as that sounds, and Well, that's it. It is.
Yeah.
It's just horrible.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why we
Okay.
go with mice. Several generations of mice can be observed in a relatively short period of time as well. So we think about, also life expectancy and
Yep.
reproduction rates. So again, think of it as all just happening in a very fast forward. We can
It's a
learn
fast forward
so
time. We
much in
can,
test
yeah,
tube.
that's right. About their whole family tree.
Yeah, and mice are generally very docile if raised from birth and given sufficient human contact. However, certain strains have been known to be quite temperamental. So there are breeds of mice.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mice as pets. Many people buy mice as companion pets. And I've known a few people that have mice as pets, and my God, they're the best fucking pets. I love them. They can be playful, loving, and can grow used to being handled like pet rats. I've also played with pet rats before.
Okay.
Pet mice should not be left unsupervised outside as they have many natural predators, including but not limited to birds, snakes, lizards, cats, and dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And male mice tend to have a stronger odor than the females. We're stinkier.
Okay.
So, however, mice are careful groomers, and as pets, they never need bathing. And well looked after mice can make ideal pets. Some common mouse care products we don't need to go in. That's fine. Fuck that bitch. Let's just delete that dumb.
Okay. They sound good though as pets.
Yeah, they're so cute. They're little. They're soft.
Yeah.
They're friendly. They're so cuddly.
Okay. I don't want one as a pet, but
That's
I
fair.
understand why people would. Yeah.
Think of it as like a little baby duck. Like little baby chicks? They're pretty much exactly like holding a little baby chick, except it's a little baby mouse. They do the exact same thing.
Yep.
They're just as soft, just as small.
Gotcha.
If you can do a baby chick, you can do a baby mouse. Now, mice are a staple in the diet of many small carnivores. In various countries, mice are used as feed for pets such as snakes, lizards, frogs, tarantulas, and birds of prey. And many pet stores carry mice for this purpose alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so mice are sold in various sizes with various amounts of furs, and mice without fur are easier for the animal to consume. However, mice with fur may be more convincing as animal feed.
But aren't the mice without fur the real baby ones?
Mm-hmm.
That's not okay. You can't give the infants ones to the snacks.
Oh, yeah, that's how
Oh.
mice are treated. You can go buy a frozen bag of baby mice.
Oh, I don't want to do that.
Like, come on, folks. Let's just get it. I get it. You got a pet snake or something. You got to feed them somehow. But
Yeah.
I just think the treatment of mice, if you did that to baby elephants, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. It would take a lot longer for the snakes to eat it, but it was just as bad.
But we would be just as abhorrently, come on. I think there's just some double standards. Now, this might freak some folks out, but humans have eaten mice since prehistoric times.
Okay.
More recently, in Victorian Britain, fried mice were still given to children as a folk remedy for bedwetting.
We went through home remedies last week, and there's better ways. There's better ways to do things, okay? Don't eat mice for bedwetting.
Yep.
Fried mice.
Now, a certain someone named Jared Diamond reports creamed mice being used in England as a dietary supplement during World War II rationing.
If anything in a recipe says, or a menu item says creamed, I do not want it.
Yeah, true.
I don't want it. And then throw mice in the mix? No, I really don't want it.
Yeah. Another example, mice are a delicacy throughout eastern Zambia and northern Malawi, where they are a seasonal source of protein.
Mm-hmm.
This is that whole argument of why we should be eating insects. When I was in Thailand recently, I got to eat so many different insects like ants and grasshoppers and stuff like that. And per weight, per kilo or whatever, there's more protein in grasshoppers than there is in any other source of protein out there. Wow. Granted, you're not going to eat, like 300 grams of red meat beef steak or whatever versus 300 grams of
grasshoppers.
Like that's not, we're not in the same field of space and consumption, right? I get that. But if you ground down grasshoppers, if you made a steak out of grasshoppers,
Yeah.
that was 300 grams, you would be getting way more
Way more
protein than what.
protein.
Yeah.
Okay.
So eating insects, it's like this argument that a source of protein, there's way better sources of protein. And just the same argument why we use mice for testing
Mm-hmm.
and experiments. Mice are easier to grow than fucking cows
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
lambs
Mice
or
are
anything
easier to
else.
grow than fucking cows. Yeah.
So why isn't there a mouse section at the grocery store? Like,
Yeah.
so I'm getting on my high
Full
horse here.
circle. Oh, I went to the football on Saturday night and there was a man behind me having a conversation for the entire game about this woman who was at their work and then she moved to Warrnambool because the culture was. He used the term. They were having this like serious conversation. He goes, "No, look, I don't want to get on my hobby horse about this, but I think I have to." And so I wanted to turn around and be like, "I think you mean high horse."
Yeah,
No, he decided hobby horse
hobby
was where he
horse.
was at. So Dom, you stay on your hobby horse for this whole episode.
I
This
will.
is your episode.
I would just, all I'm saying is, folks, eat mice instead of other things if you want
Yes.
mice. Now, obviously, this has changed over time, and mice meat and mice are not really something that we encourage or is seen in everyday, especially Western culture.
Yep.
Now, prescribed cures in ancient Egypt included mice as medicine. In ancient Egypt, when infants were ill, mice were eaten as a treatment by their mothers. It was believed that mouse eating by the mother would help heal the baby who was ill. So through breast milk,
Breast milk. Okay.
chest milk,
Yep.
breast milk. Okay, maybe we're getting sidetracked here.
Okay.
I was going to have a whole diversity and
I
inclusion.
was just about to say,
breast, chest,
you got another hobby horse out.
Oh, here we go. I'm not going to open that can of worms because that's a new frontier, folks.
Okay. Okay.
Anyway, so that concludes my little information about mice.
All right.
Let's end on mice chest milk.
Great. Egyptian chest milk
Yeah.
for baby sickness.
because we're about to get into rats. Rat-a-tat-tats.
Ratatouille. I hope you will talk about Ratatouille because,
Oh my God,
I mean,
there's
talk about.
another pop culture reference. Fuck me. I was sitting
That
here
one's got rat in the title too.
I was sitting here going, what's a movie about bloody mice or bloody rats? And I
Yeah.
couldn't think of
Ratatouille's a big one.
Ratatouille.
Star of the show.
See, I would have thought of that if it wasn't for my fucking tooth.
Well, exactly. So you can't blame anybody.
Oh my God.
You're okay today.
I'm in so much pain.
You're so irked. I was looking at, but here, does this help? I was looking at some trips to Fiji and the cost of you for one session of your toothness is almost my whole trip to Fiji.
Yeah. And on that note, I'm having to give up my art studio. I'm having to move out of my art studio, which is something I have spent months trying to get. But all my rent and budget for my art studio for the rest of this year has now been spent on a fucking tooth.
No.
So I'm now without an art studio. So like there is some serious sort of like I'm pissed off.
Yeah, there's serious ramifications for this nonsense from your tooth.
Anyway.
Okay.
Let's talk about
Talk to me about rats, Dom. Let's change the subject. I don't want you to be in pain anymore.
Pain's part of life. Just embrace it. Now,
okay.
Rats. Rats are various medium-sized, long-tailed rodents. So we discussed about the difference between a rat and a mouse.
Uh-huh.
Species of rats are found throughout the order of Rodentia, but stereotypical rats are found in the genus Rattus. So there's a slightly different genus from the previous one we were just talking about.
Yep.
Let's not get Latin about it.
That's all right.
But if you think about it, don't think of rats as just the scary, ugly rats. There's also like the Rattus genus is really huge, like the bandicoot.
What? The bandicoot is part of the bandicoot.
That's also a rat. There's also kangaroos. No. Kangaroo rats and kangaroos are also part and linked to the Rattus genus. Blah 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 blah.
Okay.
So this is a big group, but everyone always just focuses in on the small little scary New York subway rats. But we need to be really, really careful because
There's
It's a
so many different
big
kinds. It's a big
family
genus.
that you really like. So every time you
Yeah.
go cuddle a kangaroo, be like, well, it's just a
Well,
giant fucking
it's just
rat.
a big
So
rat.
get over it,
It's
folks,
just a
for
big rat.
fuck's sake.
I have another pop culture refo for you
Oh, here
on a
we go. Rub it
sidebar.
in.
Go
Rub
back
it
to
in.
the 90s. The TV show The Ferals with Radis the rat and Modigliana the cat.
Modigliana the cat, and
Oh,
what was the they called one of them after a poison that was used to kill the rabbits?
oh, they did too.
Moxie.
Moxie, yes, Moxie. What the hell? I forgot that they called him.
Oh my God, Kane talks about this consistently, Kate. But folks, if you've never heard of the Ferals, it
It's an,
is like a puppet show.
oh my god, yeah, it's a puppet show, but it was always a bit off as well, and it was
It's
on the
fucking dark.
ABC here, which is like PBS or BBC. And it's like 90. It was 94 to 95. Holy moly, Rattus.
Moxitosis was the poison that was in mixitosis.
Yes,
Whatever.
Mixie the bunny.
Mixie.
Mixie mtosis is what
And
her
they
name
brought it in.
is.
This was legit, folks. They brought in myxomatosis to kill off the plague of rabbits in Australia. And this fucking show was so
Oh
genius.
my
They're like,
god.
well, we're going to call the rabbit character
Yeah.
Mixie
Mixie
Mtosis.
mtosis.
It's so fucking
Oh my
brilliant.
god, that is great. And there's a dog named Darren. Oh, far out. I need to watch episodes of this show.
So good. Go
I
back.
love it.
Watch the Ferals. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
changing all the pop
Sorry,
culture
guys.
stuff.
We'll talk more about that
Really
after.
excited.
Okay, we're talking about rats, but it's a
Rats. I
big
gotta get
genus.
through
There's a
rats.
lot of thing we do. Yes. Yeah. I digress.
Now, rats are typically distinguished from mice by their size. Usually, the common name of a large muroid rodent will include the word rat, while a smaller muroid's name will include mouse. So that's pretty much it, folks. That's all you really need to know.
Mm-hmm.
The best known rat species are the black rat, Rattus rattus,
Rattus.
and the brown rat, Rattus norvegicus.
Okay.
Norvegicus, yeah. This group, generally known as the Old World rats or true rats, originated in Asia. Now, rats are bigger than most Old World mice, which are their relatives, but seldom weigh over 500 grams in the wild. The term rat is also used in the names of other small mammals that are not true rats. Examples include the Northern American pack rats, or aka wood rats.
They're imposter rats.
Yep, and a number of species loosely called kangaroo rats, and rats such as the bandicoot rat are murine rodents related to true rats but are not members of the genus Rattus. So it's all just really complicated with folks, but they're related. They're just not directly. Male rats are called bucks.
Right. Like a buck, like a deer man.
Yep.
A deer man.
Unmated females are called does.
Right.
Pregnant or parent females are called dams, and infants are called kittens or pups.
Right.
And a group of rats is referred to as what, Kate?
A buckload.
A nightmare.
A nightmare.
It's called a mischief.
A mischief? Oh,
A
that's my
mischief
middle
rat.
name.
Mm-hmm. Now, the common species are opportunistic survivors and often live with and near humans. Therefore, they are known as commensals. So that means it's kind of like having a relationship with another animal, fish that's alongside other fish or whatever.
Yeah, yep.
They may cause substantial food losses, especially in developing countries. However, the widely distributed and problematic commensal species of rats are a minority in this diverse genus. Many species of rats are island endemics, some of which have become endangered due to the habitat loss or competition with brown, black, or Polynesian rats. Wild rodents, including rats, can carry many different zoonotic pathogens such as Listeria, Toxoplasma gondii, and Campylobacter. Oh my God, that sounds like a laugh right.
Campylobacter.
The Black Death is traditionally believed to have been caused by the microorganism, which occurs by the fleas that are often associated and in close contact with tropical rats,
Mm-hmm.
um, which preyed on black rats during and living the European cities during the epidemic of outbreaks of the Middle Ages. These rats were used as transport hosts, and another zootonic disease linked to the rat is the foot and mouth disease. What is really interesting about the Black Death, folks, and I put this in our socials, Kay, is that
Yeah.
it was not the fault of rats.
Oh, the rats got a bad rap.
They did. It was actually our own feces and lice and things that we as humans came into contact with.
We always have to find someone else to blame.
Yep. So it was actually our dirtiness that did it. Now, rats, just like mice, become sexually mature at age of 6 weeks. So
Wowee. They don't waste any time.
no, but they reach social maturity at about 5 to 6 months of age. The average lifespan of rats varies by species, but many only live about a year due to predation.
Oh, okay. I mean, well, then that makes sense.
Quick, in and out, 1
Yep.
year. That's all you got, folks.
That's all you need.
Now, as pets, specifically bred rats have been kept as pets at least since the late 19th century. Pet rats are typically variants of the species brown rat, but black rats and giant pouched rats are also sometimes kept. Pet rats behave differently from their wild counterparts depending on how many generations they have been kept as pets. Pet rats do not pose any more of a health risk than pets such as cats or dogs. Tamed rats are generally friendly and can be taught to perform selective behaviors. So they're no different. Like, you go to a developing country and you see cats and dogs running around and they're feral.
Yeah.
They're as much a risk to you as a
As a rat.
or a mouse is because of their unkeptness, their feces, their fleas, their lice, their blah, blah, blah. It's all the exact same.
People just have a bad rap again.
Exactly. So unfair. Now, selective breeding has brought about different color and marking varieties in rats. Genetic mutations have also created different fur types, such as Rex and hairless. A hairless rat is not that pretty, but hey,
No.
a hairless cat's not that pretty.
Yep.
And I love hairless cats. I think they're weirdly pretty.
Okay.
Like, I'm here for it. I'm all for things that are not typically pretty.
Okay. And a hairless.
Yeah, why not? I do like my boys hairless. My men, sorry. That sounds very wrong. Oh, God.
That's actually much better coming from you than me because I could lose my job.
Yeah,
so I didn't say that for sure.
Anyway,
No, I hear what you're saying. I didn't take it that way.
No. Congenital malformation in selective breeding have created the Dumbo rat, a popular pet choice due to their low saucer-shaped ears.
Aww. That's kind of cool.
Kate, when I got called Dumbo as a kid because I had such big ears?
I do. Yeah. Cool.
I actually think it's really endearing.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad.
Okay, so there we go. Oh, by the way, they do have rat shows, and kind of like what they do with cows and things like studs and horses and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You can have that for rats as well.
Oh, I want to look at a Dumbo rat right now.
Breeding events and things, and like there's rats that are hired out as studs and stuff or whatever, so which I think that's really cool.
Oh my God. Dumbo rats are kind of cute.
Yeah. Now, for scientific research as well, rats also are included in this bucket. So in 1895, Clark University in Worcestershire, Massachusetts, established a population of domestic albino brown rats to study the effects of diet and for other physiological studies. Over the years, rats have been used in many experimental studies, adding to our understanding of genetics, diseases, the effects of drugs, and other topics that have provided a great benefit for the health and well-being of humankind. So thank your motherfucking rats.
Thank you, rats.
The aortic arches of the rat are among the most commonly studied in murine models due to marked anatomical homology to the human cardiovascular system. So, heart stuff. Rats are our friend. All people with heart shit, you better thank rats because you would not have the treatments that you do now without rats.
If it wasn't for rats.
Both rat and human aortic arches exhibit subsequent branching of the blah, 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 blah. blah, 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 left of blah, 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 blah,
Yep.
as well as blah, 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 blah. It's all just the fucking same.
Great.
And
They
you
have
want to get,
helped us with all of
yes,
our heart issues and other medical things.
it's pretty impressive. Like all the medications, surgeries, things like that, we pretty much have to thank for, I mean,
Have to thank rats for that.
pigs have helped as well, but
Okay.
rats too.
But rats are big time.
They've also done that with the rat's larynx, has been used in experimentations that involve inhalation toxicity, allograft rejection, and irradiation responses. So anything to do with cancers in the larynx and breathing, asthma, Kate.
Asthma.
Thank a rat. It's also done around ear stuff, around cartilage stuff, around muscle stuff. Like literally,
That's amazing. Anything you can really think of, the rats have assisted in
so many.
making us better.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That's so good.
Use that word, intense.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to go through all that because we're running out of time, but general intelligence around rats, early studies found evidence both for and against measurable intelligence using what they call the G factor in rats. Interesting. Part of the difficulty of understanding animal cognition generally is determining what to measure. One aspect of intelligence is the ability to learn, which can be measured using a maze like the T-maze. Experiments done in the 1920s showed that some rats performed better than others in maze tests, and if these rats were selectively bred, their offspring also performed better, suggesting that in rats an ability to learn was heritable in some way.
Okay.
So same with the architecture of
the mice house, the mouse
burrows.
house. Yes.
It's just really impressive. We can learn from that evolution type thing, how certain species of things would pass things on and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, rat meat is a food that, while taboo in some cultures, is a dietary staple in others. So unlike mice, rats, because of their size, are actually more commonly accepted and used for a source of protein.
Okay.
Interesting. Working rats. Now, rats have been used as working animals before, Kate. Tasks for working rats include the sniffing of gunpowder residue, demining, acting and animal-assisted therapy. Rats have a keen sense of smell and are easy to train. So you want to like landmines?
Yeah.
That's a really good way of doing that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
These characteristics have been employed, for example, by the Belgian non-governmental organisation APOPO, which trains rats, specifically African giant pouch rats, to detect landmines and diagnose tuberculosis, all through smell.
Jeepers creepers.
I mean, how cool
That's
is
so
that?
interesting.
Yeah.
They are very cool. They do heaps of cool shit.
All right. I'm not going to go through pests. I think everybody is pretty aware of the famousness of sewer rats and all sorts of things, especially in America.
Yep.
I just want to really talk about spread of disease. Just like in mice, rats can serve as zoonotic vectors for certain pathogens and thus spread disease, such as bubonic plague, Lassa fever, leptospirosis, and hantavirus. All of that stuff has been well and truly documented. And again, you know, it's not their fault. It's just because of their ability to breed so many of them unchecked.
That's it. And they run around. They got things to do. They're very busy animals.
Now, really interesting, I'm going to finish on areas that are rat-free. So if you have a fear of rats, folks, listen to this last little segment and then we are done.
Yee.
Now, rats are found in nearly all areas of Earth which are inhabited by human beings. We talked about that before. The only rat-free continent is Antarctica, which is too cold for rat survival outdoors. And it's like if human habitation does not provide buildings to shelter them from the weather, nor food source.
Mm-hmm.
However, rats have been introduced to many of the islands near Antarctica, and because of their destructive effect on native flora and fauna, efforts to eradicate them are ongoing. In particular, Bird Island, just off rat-infested South Georgia Island, where breeding seabirds could be badly affected if rats were introduced, is subject to special measures and regularly monitored for rat invasions. As part of island restoration, some islands' rat populations have been eradicated to protect or restore the ecology. Howard Axe Island in Alaska was declared rat-free after 229 years, and Campbell Island in New Zealand after almost 200 years.
Huh.
Brexy Island in New Zealand was declared rat-free in 1988 after an eradication campaign based on a successful trial on the smaller Hawaii Island nearby. In 2015, January, an international rat team set sail for the Falkland Islands for the British Overseas Territory of South Georgia and the South Sandwich Islands on board a ship carrying 3 helicopters and 100 tons of rat poison, and with the objective of reclaiming the island for its seabirds.
Wow.
Now, rats have wiped out more than 90% of the seabirds on South Georgia, and the sponsors hope that once the rats are gone, it will regain its former status as home to the greatest concentration of seabirds in the world.
Holy frioli.
Yeah, big deal. Leave that one there. The Canadian province of Alberta is notable for being the largest inhabited area on Earth which is free of true rats due to very aggressive government rat control policies. It has large numbers of native pack rats, also called bushy-tailed wood rats, but they are forest-dwelling vegetarians which are much less destructive than true rats. Okay. Forceful government control measures, strong public support, and enthusiastic citizen participation continue to keep rat infestations to a minimum. The effectiveness has been aided by a similar but newer program in Saskatchewan, which prevents rats from even reaching the Alberta border. Alberta still employs an armed rat patrol to control rats along Alberta's borders.
Do they get special jackets and badges? I hope so.
Imagine that.
With little rat with an X through it or something like that.
So good. About 10 single rats are found and killed per year.
Oh.
And occasionally a large localized infestation has to be dug out with heavy machinery, but the number of permanent rat infestations is 0. So this is this is serious.
This is serious business.
And that, folks, for those that are afraid, is the end of my musophobia episode.
Woo! Can I ask you a question?
Of course you can.
When you said the night of 1,000 mice or rats, is that from something?
No, it's just I'm trying to think of a catchy way of scaring the shit out of people who
I
are
love
afraid
that.
of mice.
I just thought it was something because, again, it's not rare for me to not know what's going on or to have missed a reference, or I thought perhaps it was something almost biblical, but I was like, I don't know what it was for. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, you just think about it and how people think of plagues of mice.
Yes.
And, there's a night of 1,000 anything.
Yeah. I like it. Thank you so much, Dom. I feel like I know more about mice and rats now than I ever thought to want to know. But that was fascinating, particularly the stuff about the rats working.
I know, right? And hopefully now people feel just that little less, the more you know, I think you can even just like a smidge get that little bit better understanding of mice are not evil things.
Yeah.
They're just like
smart.
cats, dogs, and everything else.
My God.
And they give us a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
They actually give us more than what cats and dogs do. We should be much more grateful to mice than cats and dogs.
That's true. I probably won't be, but we should be.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Dom. I really enjoyed that. And if you are a Patreon subscriber, I have 3 stories. I thought I had 4. I've only got 3. 3 stories that I want to tell you about personal mice rat stories. And then we have to do some more pop culture as well, which we can do. We've talked a bit about it throughout the episode, but sign up for Patreon. We're going to go and talk about some stuff immediately right now so that our special listeners get special things.
Yeah, so tune in. And for those that don't, snooze you lose. Sorry to miss you, but tune in next week because Kate's coming back with a mega story.
It is a mega
Is
story.
it a surprise or are we going to share?
Well, I mean, people will see the title of it when it comes up. And do you know what? It's quite a vague title because there's so much that I could talk about. But something that I specialize in, the brain. So I'm going to be talking about the brain, but I'm going to be leaning into a little bit about things that the brain does that you're like, what the fuck? Like, how, what? And that's really what I'm going to focus in on. So if you want to hear about some weird shit that the brain does, join us next week. Even if you don't want to hear about that, I promise you, regardless of the story we tell, we will be entertaining. So just come and have some fun with us. Let's just have a goddamn good time.
Okay. All right, folks. We'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. Love you lots.
Love you. Boy, boy, boy.
I'm just going to go top up my glass and I'll be right
Do
back.
it. No problems. Do-do-do-do-do. Ay, 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 ay.
Hello.
Well, hi there.
Hi, Kate. How you doing?
How y'all going? I've lost your video, but I think is it because it's off or because
No, my video should be
it
there.
says recording continues smoothly. Live video will return when their internet improves. Apparently your internet has a problem.
Okay, well, fucking
Just
calm your
fucking
farm.
relax. Yeah. Fucking relax, Riverside.
Okay, well, it should appear just fine, but I don't need the videos. I just need the audio, so
Exactly.
not a concern.
Yeah.
Welcome, folks, to Bricking It.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. And thanks for bloody subscribing, you genius legends.
I know, it's not hard, right?
Nah, you guys have absolutely nailed it. So thanks for joining us for our little extra bonus stuff.
You should be grateful because you're spending this $4 or $5 on us instead of that chocolate bar or that coffee or that bad thing that you shouldn't have had. Now it's going to something creative and good in the world.
Yes, exactly right. And that's very exciting. And we are here to tell you a little bit of extra stuff around our Mies Ratus episode that Dom has shared, Night of 1,000 Mice.
Yeah, I've got some awesome pop culture stuff that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah. I've got 3 stories that I wanted to share, personal stories about mice and rats. Should you want to go first or should I?
I don't know. It's up to you. Which one?
Look, I'll go first because I don't know how my stories aren't that long. I promise. I wrote them down during that episode, but here we go. All right. So the first one was I have seen IRL a New York City rat. And I know that that's probably not rare for people that go to New York City because they're very, very, they're everywhere. But when I was catching a subway train, a train had left. And then after that train had left, there was like, this movement of something. And to be honest, I thought it was like a garbage bag because there was a lot happening at the time. And then this thing, and it wasn't like where people go, it was a New York rat, like it's the size of like a 6-year-old kid. It wasn't that big. But to be honest, it was quite like, it was hefty. It was hefty. It was well fed.
Yeah.
Well fed rat. And I just looked at it and I felt it was the weirdest sensation, but I almost felt like a little bit starstruck.
Yeah, it's like it's there. Like, it's real.
That's a New York rat. Like that's a fucking New York rat. It's on the subway line and it's just chilling. And I've never felt starstruck over a rat before, but that one got me. The next story I have is when I was in science in year 9, I had a teacher named Mr. Jeans.
Yeah.
Firstly, great name. Sounds made up. It's not. His name was Mr. Jeans. And we were in science and we were doing we were like looking after mice. We weren't dissecting them, thankfully. We were looking after them and they had babies. And I remember at one point, and these were babies where they were the little pink, like tiny,
Yeah.
5 centimeter, eyes still like closed over and had the blue underneath and whatever. And I can remember I was holding on to a little baby one, and I was like, look at the little baby one. And then Mr. Jeans came over and he was just like, oh, that's so cute. And then like took it off me to like hold on to it. But as soon as he put it on his hand, oh, I'm going to laugh and it's not funny. As soon as he put it on his hand, that thing fucking jettisoned itself off his hand. It just went like it was obviously freaked out, and it just ran off Jeansy's fingers and then just landed, fortunately, on the science table, not on the floor. But then it was
Oh,
just like laying there. It was fine. It was totally fine. We ended up calling it Zip because that's what it did. And Zip
wow.
lived for
There's that
ages.
startle response as well.
Yes, that was the startle response from the baby mouse. But it was fine. But it's everyone in the whole class was like mortified that Jeansy had just killed this baby mouse by
That's so
disturbing it.
funny.
Finally, a rat story. My golden retriever Austin, may he rest in peace. He was a real he was a home dog. He wouldn't survive in the wild. He was
Right.
very, very precious. And I can remember I was at my mother and father's, which is where he lived. And then one day he came into the living space and he was grumbling at us. He's like, "Mm-mm-mm." And we're like, what? Because he would always come and talk to us if he needed to tell us something. It was very clear, his communication style. So he was like, "Mm." And I was like, what? I don't speak what you're speaking, but I'm trying to figure it out. What's going on? And then he'd
Use
sort
your
of,
words.
yeah, I'm like, come on, mate. And then I'd stand up and I'd sort of follow him because he'd walk to wherever he needed you to follow him.
Uh-huh.
And then he stood just sort of by the back door, but he'd sort of look outside and then look at me and then look outside. I was like, mate, I don't know what you
What?
want. Forget it. And this went on for about 10 or 15 minutes, but he just wouldn't shut up. So eventually I went outside. So once I'd gone outside and I turned the light on because the sun was going down, he came out and was sort of behind my legs. And as I kept walking, and then I stopped, and then he stopped, and his little head was like right behind my leg, and he was sort of peeping out. There was a dead rat on the deck, and it had
Oh,
obviously eaten some poison, some bait or something that had been left at some point, but it was dead, and it was huge, like massive rat, but he was scared of it. So he didn't
oh
want
my
to deal with
God.
it. And it was blocking his path to go to his toilet area where the grass was. So he was waiting for me to get rid of the rat. And I was like, homie, you are a disappointment to your breed.
What a
You're a
precious
fucking
petal.
hunting dog, my guy. Move it yourself. Put it in your mouth and move it. But he was dead set, like frightened, and he just wanted someone else to move it. So naturally, I got my mum and she got it out of the way because I wasn't going to touch it. So both
Oh
Austin
God.
and I were standing behind my mum while she took care of it.
Oh
And
my
then,
goodness.
and then he was happy as Larry. Went and did a whiz and then came back but did not do his breed justice at all.
Well done, Kate.
Thanks. Those were the mice rat stories that popped into my brain.
I'm sure everyone's got one,
They have
but
to, yeah, they
I'm
have
just
to.
picturing the scared dog behind your legs.
Oh, he was such a silly, silly goose.
Wow. What I've got for our brickies who
Yep.
have so graciously joined our Patreon is just a few other pop culture sort of references where rats have popped up
Mm-hmm.
in film, television, music, theatre, da 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 da. But then I'm going to end on the most and possibly my favorite rat story ever.
Okay. I
Now,
like that you have a favorite rat story.
oh my God, this is the best one. And you'll know what it is, but it's I think it's iconic.
All right, hit me.
Now, depictions of rats in fiction are historically inaccurate and negative, and I think have done an absolute disservice to
What they've
rats
done
in
to help
general.
us, which we've learned from the episode earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the most common falsehood is the squeaking almost always heard in otherwise realistic portrayals.
Yes.
While the recordings may be actual squeaking rats, the noise is incredibly uncommon.
Oh.
They may do so only if distressed, hurt, or annoyed. So just like any other animal.
Yeah. They don't do it in a menacing way. They only do it if they are like yelping.
Yeah, you've heard a cat
Yeah.
The sound of a cat being in distress, so much worse than a little
So
squeak.
much worse. Yes.
Okay, so just calm your fucking farm, folks.
Yeah,
Mice have feelings too.
they do.
Now, normal vocalizations are very high pitched, well outside the range of human hearing, so they talk constantly, but you would never know it. And rats are also often cast in vicious and aggressive roles when, in fact, their shyness helps keep them undiscovered for so long in an infested home. So they purposely stay away from us to just
Yeah, they just want to live
leave
their
us
lives.
be.
Yeah.
The actual portrayals of rats vary from negative to positive, with a majority in the negative, and it's kind of a bit ambiguous. The rat plays a villain in several mouse societies, from Brian Jacques' Redwall and Robin Gervais's The Deptford Mice, to the role of Disney's Professor Radigan and Kate DiCamillo's Roscuro and Botticelli. They have often been used as a mechanism in horror, being the titular evil in stories like The Rats or H.P. Lovecraft's The Rats in the Walls, and in films like Willard and Ben. I mean, you also, do you remember that scene in Game of Thrones where they use the rat in the barrel?
Yes.
And they heat the barrel and the rat...
Yeah, it tries to eat through the... Yeah. And also, rats have got a bad name by if you're, if you like snitch on someone or tell on somebody, that's you being a rat. And it's just like, how does that work? Like, what did rats do? They're just out there living their lives. And now there be people that say bad things.
I bet you if you put a fucking cat in a barrel and then lit the barrel on fire, the fucking cat's going to do it too.
If you put me in a barrel and you set that on fire, I'm going to fucking claw my way out of that shit. I guarantee you. So, I'm not going to lay down and die. So it ain't just rats, folks.
Yeah. Now, they've been used as methods for torture in books such as Room 101, George Orwell's 1984, and The Pit and the Pendulum by Edgar Allan Poe. Like, people have been talking about this forever.
People have been just bloody smearing the name of rats for decades.
Now, another one which we haven't touched upon, selfish and helpfulness. So those willing to help for a price. This is the classic sort of Disney idea of a rat.
Okay.
This particular rat has also been attributed to fictional rats. So Templeton from E.B. White's Charlotte's Web.
Great name.
Repeatedly reminds the other characters that he's only involved because it means more food for him. And there's also the cellar rat of John Masefield's The Midnight Folk. It requires bribery to be of any assistance.
Ooh.
How classic is that?
Yeah, classic.
Character. By contrast, the rats appearing in the Dr. Dolittle books tend to be highly positive and likable characters, many of whom tell their remarkable life stories to the Mouse and Rat Club established by the animal-loving doctor. And then you also think of like other ones like American Tail and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's nice rats.
There are nice rats. Yeah.
Now, Pixar's 2007 animated film
Ratatouille.
Just quickly added this in, is about a rat described by Robert Ebert as an earnest, lovable, determined, and gifted rat who lives with the Parisian garbage boy turned chef.
That was a good news story for rats. That was some good rat PR.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, Disney had done enough to bloody smear the name. Yeah. And so.
Now, last but not least, my favourite Rat-a-tat-tat story.
Yes, please.
Which, by the way, Rat-a-tat as a musical band, amazing. Go check them out.
Rat-a-tat? I don't know who them.
Mm-hmm. Really good.
Okay.
Great music. Rat-a-tat. Listen to them. My favourite rat story is that of the Pied Piper.
Oh, the Pied Piper! Of course.
Now, one of the oldest and most historic stories about rats is the Pied Piper of Hamelin, in which a rat catcher leads away an infestation with enchanted music. The piper is later refused payment, so he, in turn, leads away the town's children. Fucking brilliant. Babe.
Cool.
Brilliant. This tale, traced to Germany around the late 13th century, has inspired adaptations in film, theatre, literature, and even opera. The subject of much research, some theories have intertwined the tale with events related to the Black Plague, in which black rats played an important role. So, very loosely based.
Loosely, very loosely based.
Fictional works based on the tale that focus heavily on the rat aspect include Pratchett's The Amazing Maurice and His Educated Rodents, and Belgian graphic novel La Balle du Rat Mort, The Ball of the Dead Rat. Furthermore, a linguistic phenomenon when an expression drags with an entire encompassing phrase to the front of the clause has been named Pied Piping after the Pied Piper.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I just love the fact, like, if you're not going to pay me, I'm going to fucking drown all your kids in the local river. So, you know.
That's it. That's the clause in my contract, baby.
Gonna fuck up my teeth and cause me to have root canal surgery.
I'm going to drown all your kids in the river. Okay.
I won't, but
no, you
I'm gonna feel that way. And that, folks, is the end of our extra brickinet.
Yay!
Yes, well done for staying and contributing to
yes, thank you so much.
And continuance of this.
That's it. And we love you guys. Keep on being amazing. And we'll just keep on coming up with some new stuff and getting some new content out for you guys because you are contributing fiscally. So we want to contribute audibly.
Weekly.
Weekly.
Because that's fair.
Yeah, that's it. But we love you and
we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Ciao.
Bye.
Squeak, 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 squeak.